Anyway, so Peter Sass, your question, if you're around, Peter. Can somebody get a mic there? I like this question. I've liked all of the questions, obviously.
Thank you. My name is Peter Sass. Greetings from northeast Somerset. I do this in memory of Tim Pearce. The Tories have already... Thank you, comrades. The Tories have already prepared their attack strategy on each leadership candidate. If you win, how will they attack you, and how will you counter it?
Yvette, you luckily get the first on this.
That's a clever question. Some of the Tories have sort of said to me that they would attack me on the basis of Ed, my husband. And I think that's quite plausible that they would do so because, you know, we know that they can't really quite cope with women. And I think there is there's a bit more of a feel of this being going back to, you know, to more like 1915 rather than 2015. That it was the argument that they used against the suffragettes that somehow they couldn't possibly be allowed the vote because they might somehow do what their husbands told them. Well, I think the arguments from 100 years ago are not going to work in the 2020s. And I think if the Tories want to try a sexist approach, I think we should bring it on, because I think we can beat them on women's equality every single time.
Thank you, Beth. No, we're not going to give it a bad habit. Stop it. Andy.
Well, they've already spent a large part of the last Parliament attacking me over the NHS and the mid-staff's situation in particular. That was obviously a terrible failing, but we've always seen failings throughout the history of the NHS. The right thing to do is to face up to them, and I did. I appointed Robert Francis to begin the inquiries there. And when he did his final report, the Prime Minister was given the report, and he said in the House of Commons, it doesn't blame the former Secretary of State. So he then chose to use a word he's fond of, weaponise the whole issue. But in his own words, he basically said what he said. And, do you know, the reason they can't succeed is because if you look at what happened to the NHS under Labour's time in government, the lowest ever waiting list, the highest ever public satisfaction. We took an NHS that was on its knees in 1997 where people were waiting years for operations, and the turnaround was enormous. And people know that. And look at what's happening to it now. It's going down and down and down under this government, to the point today where 100,000 people in one day have signed a petition saying they have no confidence in the Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt. And they sent him many nice photographs of what they were doing this weekend as well. So they've lost their confidence, and I am confident that Labour will take, I have done and will continue to take the fight to Cameron and his government on the National Health Service.
Thank you, Andy. And Liz?
Can I just say at that point, the Tories were utterly disgraceful in what they tried to say about Andy, and I was disgusted with that, and Andy rightly stood up to them, and I'm very proud that he did. Well, I know how the Tory media is going to try and attack me. We've already had them ask how much I weigh. I've had people ask whether someone without a family can be leader of the Labour Party, at which point I said, well, go and ask my mum and my brother and my dad and my nieces that question, because this is what they always try to do with women. You know, I'm a feminist because I want to be judged on my ability and my character and what I have to contribute, not what I look like or what my relationships are like with various partners. So that's what they'll try and do, I believe. But I think the Tories actually will fear me, because I grew up in Watford, exactly the kind of place we need to win back if we're going to form the next government. I know why people who used to vote Labour then voted Tory and how to get them back. And I will deal with their attacks by taking our tanks onto their lawns, winning back former Labour voters who voted Tory. Will get them back, beat the Tories and get the majority we need, whatever outfit I'm wearing.
I've lost control of this audience now. Jeremy?
Personal attacks are always nasty and unpleasant. If you've been elected to public office, you kind of expect it, but it's very hurtful when it's attacking your loved ones and people close to you and your family and neighbours and so on. It's disgusting. We never, ever should respond in kind. Don't go after people's personal problems. Go after the politics of it. And if you stick to your politics and you stick to your principles, then people eventually come round and understand what you're about. I've been through some very, very heavy times when over Ireland, over the Guildford Four, over the Birmingham Six, over Middle Eastern issues, and many, many other things. And in a way, it means you can give some oxygen to those issues that you're trying to take up, and so we can actually win it round. But it's also about how we as a party and how we as a movement behave and operate. I think we need to be a much stronger social movement. We need to be a much bigger party and bigger organisation, all of us, and do much more campaigning collectively and see the power of collective achievement. It's not all about individuals, it's about the power of all of us together. That's why we founded the Labour Party and the Cooperative Party in the first place.
Fantastic, thank you.